morning, everyone.
Hi.
Can you hear me all right?
Yep.
Okay. Welcome to the Global March for Elephants and Rhinos. And first, I really want to thank you from the bottom of my heart for coming out today, and I thank you for taking this day to save our precious elephants and rhinos. So please give yourself a round of applause right now. That's for you guys. Thank you very much for coming out. Our co-host is Nisefu Wildlife Conservation Foundation. Co Lewis is the co-founder, but you probably know her from the Bob and Co show on KGB FM. She's been there for years, and she'll be speaking on anti-poaching efforts at 1 p.m. after we return from our march. And Co down there, I want to thank you personally and your team for helping out and with your passion. So let's hear it for Co Lewis down there. And I want to thank my daughter, my friends, my volunteers. Thank you very much. My name is Beth Hill, and this is my first year organizing this event. And over the past year, I learned about the peril of elephants and rhinos, what they're facing. They're facing extinction, and I just can't not do something. So here I am. This is what I'm doing. And this is the third year in a row that cities all over the world have come together for the Global March for Elephants and Rhinos, to march in solidarity, to raise awareness, and to apply pressure to political leaders. The Global March was founded by a NASA scientist, Rosemary Alice, working in San Francisco, and she was like me. She had to do something. She moved to Africa and started the GMFER. So this year there's 145 cities marching from England, Germany, Africa, France, Thailand, Sweden, Mexico, and they marched in Miami, LA, Kansas City, Pittsburgh. Munich kicked it off on September 15th. Most marched yesterday. Today it's us, San Diego. But after the second global march, the U.S. State Department said, according to experts, these marches do keep political pressure on leaders to protect our elephants and rhinos. So that's who we're marching for. We're marching to save them from extinction. Most of you probably know this, but every 15 minutes, an elephant is slaughtered for its ivory. And that's 96 a day. So by the end of today, 96 will have been slaughtered, just to be carved into useless trinkets and ornaments in China's ivory carving factories. Terrorists like Al-Shabaab and Boko Haram hunt them with night vision goggles and AK-47s to fund their terrorist acts of violence and more killing. It's the third largest organized criminal activity below guns and drugs. And impoverished, uneducated locals poach them for just a puny fee. According to the Great Elephant Census that took 2 years to complete, there are only 352,271 elephants left alive today. So sadly now, that was released last month, that figure is 3,000 less. In the early 1900s, there were 10 million roaming Africa. In 1979, only 1.3 million remained. We've lost 30% of our elephants in the last poaching crisis since 2007. They're literally being decimated at an alarming rate and will be gone forever in just 10 short years. But we're not going to let that happen, are we, San Diego? So elephants are remarkable and emotionally intelligent animals. I'm going to share one of my favorite stories. There's way too many, but this is incredible and amazing and marvelous. An author, Lawrence Anthony, was known as the Elephant Whisperer. He was a conservationist and protector of wildlife. He went to the ends of the earth, including the Baghdad Zoo, saving what animals were left during the war there. The day he died in Africa, March 2nd, 2012, two separate herds of elephants that he had previously rescued and rehabilitated slowly, somberly made their way on a 12-hour trip that very day he died to his home to say goodbye and pay their respects. They stayed for 2 days without food just to grieve him. So elephants do grieve. So this is why we're marching for these docile darlings.
Woo!
We march for the dead, the butchered, and the vulnerable. We march for those alive and those not yet born. We march on behalf of the Earth's last sentient giants, creatures of extraordinary intelligence, cognition, memory, and knowledge. Right now, entire herds are wiped out by helicopter gunships. The surviving family members are left traumatized, bewildered, and disabled without the elders and matriarchs with their millions of years of knowledge. That's where David Sheldrick Trust Wildlife Foundation comes in, and they have a booth here today. But since 1977, they've been rescuing orphans, and it was founded by Dr. Dame Daphne Sheldrick. She spent years formulating the milk for the babies. And they have helicopter vet rescue and rehabilitate and reintegrate to save and preserve this magnificent species. So Morgan Krotstrunk with the U.S. Friends of David Sheldrick Wildlife Foundation Trust is here today. Thank you, Morgan.
Hey, hey, ho, ho, the ivory trade has got to go. Hey, hey, ho, ho, the ivory trade has got to go. Hey, hey.
Thank you.
So, in the words of Dr. Dame Daphne Sheldrick, what she says about the crisis, and this woman is my hero, we must never allow or tolerate the decimation of wild species to satisfy the greed and materialist wants of mankind. Our inaction in the face of extensive suffering that will lead to the extinction of rhinos, elephants and rhinos, would be an eternal stain on our own species. The public has a powerful role to play in focusing world attention and demanding change to stop the slaughter. So a movement that began with the I Worry International Marches grows with the Global March. Together, we must fight for their lives. The future is just as bleak for rhinos too, poached for their horns that ignorant people believe cure cancer, HIV, and are an aphrodisiac. Although scientifically proven to the contrary, their horn is made of protein keratin, just like what's in our fingernails. But Vietnam and China can't get enough. There are only 25,000 rhinos left in the whole world, due to be extinct soon too. Because a rhino is poached every 8 hours. That's 3 a day. In 2015, 1,175 were poached, and we're pacing the same sickening number this year. So what are we really marching for? What are we hoping to achieve? We're marching to influence CITES, okay? CITES stands for Convention for International Trade of Endangered Species. And the meeting consists of 183 government members that are voting on different levels of protection of species from overexploitation. We're calling for elephants and rhinos to be upgraded to the highest level of protection to Appendix 1. So we want no trade. Yes on Appendix 1.
Woo!
So we have a letter here online, okay, at the GMFER, Global March for Elephants and Rhinos booth that you can sign online. That'll still go to the site's delegates because their meeting goes till October 5th. It started yesterday. So we're not just marching across this beautiful bay in San Diego. We're marching for the souls of hundreds of thousands of elephants and rhinos that have been hunted and brutally poached. We're marching for Sitao, the great tusker that was relentlessly hunted for and finally murdered in May of 2014. We're marching for Hope, the rhino whose horns were hacked off. She was left for dead, but survived and has undergone reconstructive surgery, closing her gap. She didn't make it. We're marching for Mishwati, the baby elephant that I fostered through the David Sheldrick Foundation, along with many others. We're marching for the preservation and posterity of wildlife. We as the superior species, it is our responsibility to protect them. We are their guardians. They have no words. We are their words and we are their voice. We truly are their only hope. So we're going to save them because we'll never give up. I'll never give up till the elephants tell me to give up, when they're all alive and safe. We're going to start by marching with our hearts. And again, your presence here is hope. After you leave today, the fight isn't over. I encourage you to share so that others may understand, to inspire compassion so they may care. 80% of Americans don't know that elephants and rhinos can be extinct in a very swift time. The time is scarce. So please share after this. Do what you can. But everybody knows Jane Goodall?
Yep.
Jane Goodall, right? She's been a conservationist since the 70s. She's a world-renowned primatologist and messenger of peace. She says, only if we care, only if we understand can we care. Only if we care will we help. Only if we help shall they be saved. So with that said, we're going to get this march started. I know it's hot today. And once we return, Co Lewis from Nisefu Wildlife Conservation Foundation and Morgan Krotstrunk from the U.S. Friends of David Sheldrick Foundation will address the crowd too. We've got Jumpin' Jack Flash. Thank you, Jumpin' Jack Flash. DJ, we've got some games, we've got some prizes, a lot of information, and
Signs.
and feel free to donate, large or small, or large or large. And we have another special guest today, and that is Mark Schaefer and Chopper the biker dog. I think it's too hot for Chopper to do his full stuff on the bike with the leather, but they're going to lead the march. So what we're going to do now, if you don't have a sign, I have extra signs.
Lots of signs over there,
Come to the Global March booth right here, on this side of Tony Gwynn. We're going to line up, and everybody please stay put. Colleen, who's another great volunteer, is going to get some photos of all of us before we head out. Now here's the route. We're going to head out this way. We're going to turn right. We're going to turn right on Ash, right on Harbor, just the perimeter of the park, not through the park. And there's a farm market going on. We'll just get around that. But we're going to chant as we go, and I'm going to start